Hello.
Hello! Thanks for doing this as part of the Digital Thought initiative with the Fader.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for having me, and thank you, Fader, for all of your diligence in this shitty time. I'm at my dad's in Cardiff. I'm in his study. Cardiff, I think, might be slightly behind the times in Wi-Fi connections, so this is the only place I get.
Okay, you asked me to do this at quite early time for me. I
Oh,
think I
is
still
it?
have the pillow marks somewhere.
I've been getting up earlier and earlier with less and less to do. It's fucking weird. Like I'm better in the morning. I think if I get up late in the morning, I feel like I've missed half the day. I've always been a morning person. Like
Do you
just
work in
the
the
fact
morning? Like, do you write?
I don't really write things down. I only write when I'm actually writing the song. For me, all of our songs, the music's created the theme or the tone of the
Oh,
writing,
really?
the lyrics. I just listen to a song until instinctively a phrase comes in. And I think it's just for me, that's why my lyrics fit music well, in my opinion. But what about you? How do you write them?
I always start with words, but many things can trigger it. I remember, for example, writing the song Fuckers. All of it for me was an LCD Sound System song. I wanted to try to write an LCD Sound
Yeah.
System song, which I
Yeah,
failed
yeah, yeah.
terribly because I'm not James Murphy. But that was what I was trying to do. Where do you stand on that? Copying other people's work, or at least, loving it so much that you're trying to recreate a memory of it or a feeling that it's given to you.
For me, like I've stolen everything I've written, everything I am,
Yeah.
everything I've written as a lyricist and a singer have come from what I love. Things like Fuckers was a big inspiration for Joyce and Acquisitions. I heard that album was like, of course, that movement of positivity with the violent tone, like it,
Yeah.
it, it works. With Well Done, it was like, I just really want to write a grime song and that concept of a hook, a vocal hook instead of musical hook. I like the idea of calling it theft because it's antagonistic, really. Because I think I'm going to always be unapologetic about referencing stuff. But me, like taking lyrics out, I grew up on hip hop, and it's like
Yeah.
the rock and roll way of sampling, is to do that, to use other people's shit as a hook.
Oh, I love that. And sometimes it's even parody, like when you say, I kissed a man and I loved it. Straight influence from pop culture, but you're
Yeah.
taking ownership of that.
I think this, like, lesbianism or bisexuality with women is fetishized quite often in popular culture because,
Yeah.
of the male gaze being the only window, apparently, for us to enjoy. So
Yeah.
to just flip it on its head and be like, I kissed a boy and I liked it, it's just antagonizing people with something beautiful. I find quite interesting. But no one can turn around and be like, what's that fucking lyric about? Because then you're like, why don't you like that lyric, friend? Do you know what I mean? What it is people like uncomfortable with the idea that you don't fit in a box as easily, like people can commodify, fetishize and make fun of gay people because it's like, oh, you do this, where bisexuality is harder to kind of just fucking put in a little thing that you can kick about whenever you please. So what are you doing with your time?
I have been rediscovering some things I had at home I didn't know I had. Like, for example, I have here this sort of incredible Penthouse magazine collection. But
Magic.
I found them and they're quite
But
amazing. They're like vintage sort of,
they're vintage.
yeah, Kiss comics.
Sick.
Look, this is cool. I'm publishing a book in June, and so I've started writing another book, another idea.
Amazing.
I don't know if where that's going to take me, but at least I have the time.
For me, right now, what I'm trying to focus on is being able to use this time to get as much work done as possible, but not because I have to. Enjoy my own skin and only use the internet for connection with people. So I'm not going on it. I'm not like on my phone on Instagram for 4 hours.
This is your dad's library behind you, right?
Well, it's his vinyl and stuff. His library is kind of beside us.
Would you like to grab one item?
Like growing up around my dad, he was always an artist as I was growing up. So he taught me early on about using books and using other artists as research to create your own artistic language, is because it just sparks things in your head and creates new pathways. This is the oldest book I know in his collection.
Wow. It looks very 70s.
It is, yeah. This is a book, I've always seen it on his shelf. There's another book he's got called How to Wrap a hundred Ways to Wrap an Egg. This is a Japanese book about wrapping eggs, but it's just, a million ways to tie rope. The fastidious and pragmatic ways of looking at creative thinking as problem solving, and it's like come from my grandma. Right? Yeah, exactly. And like how to wrap an egg, how to,
That could be a really good song title, How to Wrap an Egg.
There you go. Well, we should write a song together called How to Wrap an Egg. If you were going to sum up your lineage from your parents, and what do you think you got creatively from them?
My parents were heavily into theatre. My father was a theatre director. So when I was a kid, after school, I'd go to rehearsals and sit at the back and watch the actors work. And I discovered a lot of really heavy theatre plays at the time, because he was directing Ibsen or Edward Bond or Coltès. There was this sort of drama, heavy drama about life and love and death. And also the sort of the hard work of putting on the play, having everyone being concentrated and like as a group of people making this together. I think that really stayed with me. He gave me my first lessons of stage, really. Talent is not enough. You need to work really hard. And if you don't work, someone else will get it, And you can't just count on your good looks to get anywhere. It's not going to work like that.
Do you think when you were in the band that you found yourself leading the troop, as it were? And did you feel comfortable with that?
The magic of a band is when people are, first they're ready to give up everything for the band.
Yeah.
But also you need people who understand how to recognize a great idea, and it doesn't matter where it comes from, in the sense of people have different skills and you have to recognize the skills in others. Like if someone is a better spoken person, you need to let them speak. In Savages, that's always how I picture it. Like the dynamic, but also in doing my personal records, because I collaborated with a lot of people for it. You have to be ready to give up on some ideas, and maybe the idea that needs to go away is your idea. But you need to be okay with that, because if someone who's collaborating with you is like, why are you getting rid of that idea? That was my only input into the song. You're like, yes, but it does make it a better song. It's just working for the same goal instead of working, for your own, satisfying your own ego. It's tricky.
I think collaborating with people is often quite a fruitful thing if there is a dissolution of ego with that exchange. It's not like Live Aid, where there's like 50 egos in a room, or all that want their single line, instead of a choir.
Like if I went to work with Atticus Ross, because I love his work in film soundtracks, the way he can create a sort of a sense of suspense in the music. I'm going to let him do it, because I'm bringing something on the table that he can't do, which is writing lyrics and play on stage and then be able to go out there in the world and defend it. I'm more honored that someone like that would want to work with me.
Absolutely.
That's the only thing that matters.
As a collective of 5 very individual people, like we're very different from each other. We were obsessed with the idea of democratic thinking, and we wanted each other to flourish. For a democratic community to work, it's like, let the accountant be the accountant and the carpenter be the carpenter. You'll get better results.
Yeah, but it's tricky because is it the result that matters the most, or is it how people flourish?
I think if you flourish as individuals within a community, the result will just be better and a lot more expressive of who you are as a group. Me and Bowen used to lock horns a lot. 2 stags, who are both really shit at what they're arguing over. Like, no, let me do this. And it's like, you're both rubbish at it. Shut up. Whereas now we're like, yo, Dev, this is your bit. Let's go.
I think it's quite incredible when you can see someone just take the space.
Yeah.
Express himself and take the space, and that's what you want on a record.
I think that's one of the similarities that I draw from your art and our art, is that there's like a similarity in its instinction. It's like animalistic violence there. It can be a soft song or a quiet tone and still have that human violence of existence in it. I think just being alive is quite a violent act, both to the earth and to itself. nothing recently has like blown my mind. I don't know. There's been amazing albums, amazing
Well, that
albums.
means you haven't heard my album.
Well, I haven't. I haven't.
Wait to have your mind blown, man.
Yeah, exactly. There's a huge weight on it now for me. I'm fucking terrified.
I really want
Yeah,
to know
like.
what you think. So,
Thanks for this.
thank you. Thank you for this.
All right, lots of love.
Lots of love. Take care, Joe. Bye bye.
Bye.